Standing here in this very platform for this very moment is not only a dream come true, it's a testament of determination, resilience, and tenacity. Allow me to start off by bragging a little about the caliber of people that make it through the Botswana CA qualification. That includes myself, my fellow graduates, and the men and women who have made it before us that make up the 50 graduates we have today. I think you can give us a round of applause. The people you see here today have one thing in common. It is grit. Some call it perseverance. Some say it's resilience. To be able to go through this hard, challenging testing qualification like this one requires a very high level of perseverance. The stubbornness to see it through. The never giving upness. My graduates can attest. The strong will to finish whatever you start, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how many times you fall. I can attest that in this journey, we've experienced falling many times and getting up the next day and the day after. We understood the importance of pushing through and persevering, even in the face of adversities, such as failed modules, time constraints, COVID-19 pandemic for some of us, coupled with other general life challenges. The other thing we have in common is hard work. Studying here is not a result of intelligence alone. No, we had a sickening work ethic. We worked hard. The willingness to work extra hard is what got us here today. Malcolm Gladwell, in his famous book, The Outliers, calls it the 10,000-hour rule. We've put in 10,000 hours into studying and practicing while working at the same time. This required so many sacrifices and discipline. One more thing we had in common was belief and self-confidence. We simply believed that we could, and so we did. Training our minds to go past negative belief systems to actually believing that we too were capable of this very platform was very necessary. We had to conquer it in the mind first and believe that we can, and we did. I must also attest here the power of representation, to say seeing the men and women that have gone before us who have made it was very critical in inspiring our own individual journeys. I usually say that the likes of Miss Moyo had it tougher than us because she had no one to look up to and say, if she can be that, I also can. But we are privileged standing here today on behalf of the 6 graduates to have had women and men like Ms. Unile Maripe that have graduated before us, and we see ourselves in them, and we also know that we can. The last trait I'd like to speak on that we have in common is purpose. Each one of us had our why that kept us going even when it got tougher and tougher. I firmly believe that for anything that we do, we must have a why that is bigger than us, and that why is service to humanity. For some of us, we did it to improve the livelihoods of our families. Some did it so that they can eventually serve our country and our communities with this hard-earned qualification. I regard those papers as a good source of motivation, knowing that in the end, the dividends of this hard work and commitment not only benefit us, but other people in our country as well. Ladies and gentlemen, it would be amiss to pretend that we did this alone. A community did it with us. Let me take this time to show great appreciation to our families and friends for their support and patience. My husband is in the room. Thank you, my beloved, for your love, your patience, and your support. The stories we don't tell is the sacrifices we make. Joining the Bica course, we were 2 years into our marriage, and we had to hold on with the family planning so that I can get this out of the way. And now I'm ready to give him twins. Let me also thank our generous employers for giving us time off to study. Thank you, Mama Denge. Thank you, Mangate, for your mentorship, your guidance, your support in this journey. It's truly appreciated. I'd like to also thank I'd like to also thank the Bica team for offering us immense support on this journey. I'd also like to thank the Bica graduates that have gone before us for offering us with mentorship and guidance. Finally, I'd like to thank the ATEs that have provided us with the training opportunity and the experience we needed to be standing here today. Ra leboga bagaetsho, we are a product of your support. Most importantly, I'd like to give all the glory and the honor to God. If it wasn't for Him, we wouldn't be here today. So we thank Him for gracing us for this journey because we needed Him. To the people on this journey that are aiming for this very day, a few practical tips. Remember, practice leads to mastery. Have a little obsession and a madman mentality with your books. It'll take you a long way. No one ever does it alone. Find a study buddy or a study group. Have enduring passion. This one is one of my favorites. You've got to enjoy it. If you enjoy it a little more, you get to study a little harder. On past exam papers, read the examiner's comments to see or to understand those nuanced messages on how to answer. Another important one, go for your training on time. For those that don't know, my journey is that I finished my papers in 2022 in 4 years after starting the Bica journey, but I couldn't graduate because I started my training a little late. Now I'm standing here 6 years later to graduate. This could have been avoidable. It was a very painful wait. So if you're still on this journey and you just started, do your training on time the way it's meant to be. When the going gets tough, embrace change. Change your study environment, even change your study buddies if it doesn't work, and even change your study strategy, but never give up. In closing, let me thank Bica for giving me this opportunity to speak on behalf of my fellow graduates. And may I promise that we are ready to serve. We are ready to make impactful strides in our respective careers. That I can promise you. I'd like to end with this quote by Henry Ford that says, whether you think you can or think you can't, well, you're right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention. I'm Caroline Sanugame Dori, ACA.